We're in the kitchen tonight, and I'm here to show you one of my one-pot meals. And all I'm going to really do tonight is use one frying pan. We're going to have steak, shrimp, carrots, and peas. We're going to have a hell of a nice medley, okay? The first thing, we got the pre-washed carrots. We need to cut them up a bit, okay? I like to cut them in half lengthwise because they cook through faster and they have more surfaces that you can capture some nice flavor bits on from the beef. So what I really like to do is when I start the beef, I like to pop my carrots in, and about midway through the cooking of the steak in the pan with the shrimp in there, because they have to thaw out, so they'll be fine. They won't get too rubbery. They'll be very tasty. But you can see all I'm doing is cutting all the baby washed carrots lengthwise down it, and I'm going to take those bad boys and I'm going to pop them right in my frying pan down here. And you can't see it yet, but that's fine. There's not a lot to see. Just some carrots sitting in the pan with the shrimp and everything. But I'll pepper my meat, but I won't salt it until the end, because salt draws moisture out of meat. So what I'll do is I'll hit the top of this with a nice generous dusting of pepper, and I did start with a little olive oil. I'll show you guys what I got going on down here in the pan, and you can see I have a nice cross rib steak here, and I have some shrimp that I pulled out of the freezer, and I got my carrots started in there. So it's a real easy deal. And later on, when this gets about cooked and all the carrots are nicely glazed and shrimp is gone along good, I'll add the peas to that, and that's gonna make one hell of a kick-ass dinner. And you know, when I'm all done, I only have one pan to tend to. So in my mind, when you're transgender, you're basically kind of a guy when it comes to things in the kitchen, unless you're particularly gifted like Riley J. Ashtray and people like that in the kitchen. You make do. But I'm kind of a lazy broad. You can hear her sizzling away here, and I will back the heat down. I like to get a good sear on both sides of the beef there, and you can't believe how good the baby carrots taste when they pick up all that beef flavor. And then when I add the frozen peas in a bit, look at the bag there, they're just going to pick up awesome flavor too. The downside is I don't have my hood on the stove yet, so it might get a little smoky in here, but I'll back the heat down. I just finished drywalling. You know, I put up the sheetrock earlier. I got her screwed down, and I've just been taping tonight and mudding the first coat. So I don't think it's something that you should do in a jean skirt and this kind of top. But you know, I'm tired of all the changes and stuff like that. So yeah, there's dinner. She's cooking, and what we're going to do now is take a little bit of butter. And we're going to throw a little bit of butter in there just to give some extra flavor to the carrots. And I'm using this butter I bought today with the canola, and I'll give 2 spritzes on that because I'm not much of a butter eater generally. We'll pop that back in the fridge. But just to show you what I do. And by the time that butter works down on all the carrots and the shrimp, you won't believe the flavor it has. And it actually acts like a reducer, because the shrimp obviously has some moisture in it from being frozen, but that will work off and evaporate steam off of the pan, and the juices will get more and more concentrated with the beef and all that. So I haven't turned the beef over yet. I've just salted my side, the upside of it, but in a minute I'll turn that over. But for now, we're going to let that cook away like that. I'm going to throw this in the trash can. You know, cooking is a social activity, and I don't think tea girls are any different. What's most fun to me will be when I'm in the kitchen with people in the kitchen with me, because that's a lot of fun. I can envision my friends sitting at the table over there where I do my busty tea girl morning pleasuring, sitting around the table and chatting with me while I'm cooking. I mean, that's the kind of fun that you like to have in the kitchen. I haven't turned anything over yet. I do have my plastic spatula. I'll give you a little view as to how things are looking down there right now. And they're looking fine and dandy. The shrimp are starting to pick up some color. And, you know, I'm not one that complains about shrimp being a little firm. I don't like real loose shrimp, so I will just let them cook along. I'll probably pull them out a little bit before I, you know, before the meat finishes off here. But I'm not one to turn the beef constantly. I let it sit in the pan for a good long time to pick up a nice color on the other side, because, you know, it's kind of axiomatic when it comes to cooking. Browning equals flavor. You know, when you get color on beef or something like that, that equals flavor. So now I'll take the spatula, I'll start moving the carrots around, and the shrimp, I'll get under them, and flip them over a little bit, and they're looking really good. And you notice I haven't fudged with the beef yet, but I'm now going to take my peas, and I'm going to add them to it. And I'm a big veggies girl, so I like a lot of peas. If anything left over, I have them the next day. The peas are great greens for you. So I'm popping them back in the freezer. And now we've added that. And basically we're still in one pan. Don't get the idea that I'm like super lazy, right? I'm just doing it, you know. So I still haven't turned the beef over. You know, I like to nibble along the way when I'm cooking. So can't resist having one of the carrots. And I don't know if you can see that some of the color that's picked up on the back side. Hot damn, is that tasty. Now we've lost basically all of our moistures now cooked off. So I'm giving the beef a turn for the first time. And now it's only a matter of letting everything go for a few more minutes. I'm now going to take my plate, and in a couple more minutes I'm going to pull the shrimp out because I don't want them to be rubbery, and the carrots will be fine the way they are. And I like to test the shrimp and put a fork in it because remember I started with frozen shrimp. So I also like to work things around the pan. And peas are thawing nicely. Now they're adding just the right amount of moisture back into the pan. So the beef starts to actually saute a little bit. And let me tell you, all those beef juices are coming out now, and they're melding so nicely with the carrots. So flip them over, and you can see how awesome. I'll start removing some of the shrimp here because I don't want to overdo it on them. And they're looking really good down here, the shrimp. They're just looking totally awesome. They picked up great color. And you know, it doesn't take long to cook them through. And although I like my shrimp a little firmer than most, you still don't want to go crazy with it and have it turn into a rubbery mess. So I've now basically got almost all the shrimp out of the pan. And I'll give that a shake. I like to keep the peas and stuff moving in here. I don't want anything burning on me. But I'm now going to lift up the well, actually I'll bring you down to take a look at it because it looks really good. You take a look at that pan. Doesn't that just look awesome? You can see the color on the carrots that they picked up. You can also see the shrimp, how nicely they've turned out there. So it's just a question of pulling things off when they're ready, you know, when they're cooked through. And you notice nothing is burned here. Everything's picked up good color. You can see the juice is starting to run out of the meat. And they will actually work their way into the carrots and peas, and give a really, really super flavor. So I think it's pretty easy. You know, maybe I'm just, maybe it's just the engineer in me, but I like to do things efficiently. And I've now judged that all the peas and carrots are done. So I'll now plate them, and I will throw the steak back in to get some more cooking on it. And this will be a great dinner. And you'll say to yourself, Rosie, you have so many peas on there. But you know, peas are very good for you. They help thin the blood a little bit, and that's important if you're transgender. So, and if you're on hormones, it's very important to have greens and things. So that's finishing off. I've kind of judged that that's done now. So I'm turning the heat off, and by my timer, in 11 minutes there. And people eat with their eyes. I understand my presentation could be a little better, but what do you think about that, huh? For 11 minutes and 30 seconds, you've got a hell of a meal, and you've got exactly one pan to clean up, and there's no problem because now I have a sink in the kitchen with running water. So I hope you enjoyed the cooking with Rosie here, and don't call me lazy. Maybe call me just finding better ways to build a mousetrap, or building a better mousetrap. But thanks for watching. Okay, bon appetit.